Okay, probably the hardest thing is to get to the servo that adjusts the direction of the airflow to your feet or your face or wherever. I'm under my dashboard, so I can look out there. This is the console here, back of the radio, and then there's a big support for the dashboard here, and in between those here's the plastic housing for the AC system and everything, and incredibly hard to see, but up inside of all that is a little black box that is the servo, and it's got a screw right there that is a Phillips head, and diagonally on the opposite corner, which cannot be seen but you can feel, is another Phillips head screw, and both of those have to be unscrewed and then the whole thing pulled outwards towards the passenger side door, and we'll see what happens. Okay, that might be a slightly better angle that you can see it. I'm on the other side of that strut that supports the dashboard, so you can see that one screw real clearly, the other one not so well, and you can see the electrical plug going into the back of it. To get the screws out, I made the world's stubbiest screwdriver, because even my stubby screwdriver was too long. And then I stuffed my hand up under the dash and did it by feel mainly. So here's the servo actually hanging down from below the dashboard, still plugged in. And if I start playing with my buttons over here, which direct the airflow, you can actually see the shaft spin. So I hit a button and you'll see shaft slowly turn. Hit another button and it slowly turns again. Okay, here we are under the dashboard, and here's the servo that I removed from the air controller determining where the air is coming out of the vents. It has a square drive shaft, and what I figured out after pulling it out and playing with the system is the shaft actually rotates 360 degrees, because inside the vent system is apparently a drum that, as it goes through 360 degrees of rotation, it directs the outlets with air coming out of the various places. So obviously I can't do a bell crank arm that's going to go 360 degrees. What I'm going to do is file a bolt down to that square size and plug it in the slot where this was to go, and then I'm hoping just to be able to choose between air coming out the main vents of the dash and air going up the windshield to defrost the windshield. I figure those are the ones that really count. My feet are not nearly as important. So we will give that a shot and go from there. Okay, in the school of half-assed engineering here, real half-assed, this is what I finally came up with to operate the mixing drum that adjusts which vents the interior air is coming out of. I basically took a bolt, squared it off to match the drive shaft of the servo motor, so that's the same size as that. But then to keep it from sliding out of the hole, I welded a big washer on here. Then I have a plate that will screw into the holes that held the original servo on, so that'll be screwed to the case. The washer will keep the shaft in the appropriate slot, and then I just welded an arm on here, and that's what I'll hook the cable up to, and hopefully that will allow me to adjust my interior mix. Okay, so there it is installed, my crank arm to adjust the outlets. So there it is functioning. Hopefully it'll work when I hook it up to the actual... Okay, there's my heater valve, and here's the box. Down, down, down in the depths you can see a little plate with a black thing screwed to it. That is the resistor that controls the fan speed. Now that's the Mazda Miata resistor. The original resistor that came with the car took up that whole hole. So I had to make a plate that covered the hole, and then a smaller hole for the resistor for the Miata one. The resistors get very hot, so apparently they always put them in the box by the fan so that the fan will actually cool the resistor as it heats up. So that's an important thing. So here are things in real life, and as you can see, it's a mess of wires. But basically, this is where the relay for the AC clutch plugs in, and you can see I just have 4 connector wires coming up, and here's the actual relay itself. So 3 of the wires are connected straight back to their appropriate pins, and then coming out the hole here is the wire from the AC switch, and it splits in 2, and one of those goes to where the green-white wire used to go here. Similarly, down in the hole here is the holder for the relay for the condenser, again with the connector wires coming up to its relay here, and again all are connected to their appropriate places except for where the green-white wire used to plug in. Now I have the other half of that wire going there. And I'll also point out that the receptacle for the air conditioning clutch relay also has this other wire coming out and just goes to ground here on the chassis. And that seems to make everything function. Now downstream from all that, basically the signal comes up here, goes through the relays, and from there it goes to the high pressure on-off switch, and from there it goes to the AC clutch. Okay, airbox, cowl, in between, this is the original probe that went in the air conditioning evaporator, and it just comes out of a little rubber thing right here. So I pulled that out, and in place I placed the probe from my new AC thermostat, and as you can see the little tube runs down the hole and into the cabinet. So there's my contraption for controlling the flap there. There's my heater on and off switch, which is done from a cable that runs back here and also goes down the hole.